A band whose front woman later became one of the biggest pop stars in the early 2000s. A band who made it cool for a guy to go buy a punk rock album fronted by a female. A band who influenced not just rock, but dance, pop, punk, and all kinds of other things. This is the breakdown of No Doubt's Tragic Kingdom.
I'm just a guy singing a song that sounds like it comes out Tragic Kingdom, and not really. Sounded better in my head.
It's perfect.
All right.
It's perfect. All right.
So the band, No Doubt, like what? At this point, 3 out of the 4 bands we've done have come out of California.
Yeah.
I mean, there was something going on. Founded in 1986 in Anaheim, California. They started their career, much like many other bands do, playing local gigs. A lot of universities around that area in California. They played a lot of college shows back in the day. Played a lot with the Untouchables, Fishbone. Heard of them a few times.
Oh, Fishbone is so amazing.
Finally got to open a show for the Red Hot Chili Peppers at Cal State Long Beach, and that was their big one that got them noticed. They signed at Interscope in 1990, due in particular to Gwen Stefani's stage presence and the prevalence of stage diving fans.
Oh,
have you ever stage dove?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you were in a band,
yeah.
So yeah. I never I'm a big dude. Crowd surfing, I'm scared.
I mean, yeah, your size, I would be scared, but I was also 89 pounds as a front man of a band, so it didn't. There were concerts where I didn't want to crowd surf, and I got picked up and crowd surfed. Yeah, so fair. It happens, but yes.
This album, their 3rd studio album. We've talked a little bit before about what's a normal time frame for recording an album. This album released in October 10th of 1995, started recording in March of 93. So a year and 7 months.
That is
2 years. 2 years and 7 months.
That is ridiculous. I don't know the full story of that recording process, but it could be one of those things like these were a bunch of punk rock kids. They could have been trying to pay for this album themselves. Very little front from the record label, and they were just, hey, this month we can go in and do the horn section, and then next month we won't have enough money, so maybe we will, or we're playing a show. And I think it would be more like that than them actually being in the studio every day for that.
Well, so you mentioned in particular, might have the record label not having a whole lot of faith in it and maybe not fronting them a whole lot. Very much the case. This was their 3rd professionally released album. Their first album, they sold 30,000 copies, which 30,000 copies, but professionally signed band, that is not a lot.
No, that
will not get you re-signed. So their second album, the label was much more heavily involved and heavy-handed. They had this guy, Matthew Wilder, produce it. He would go on to produce Tragic Kingdom as well. This dude, he would go on to work with acts like Christina Aguilera. He worked on a Miley Cyrus, Hannah Montana song, Kelly Clarkson. The movie Mulan, the Disney movie, he actually co-wrote a bunch of the songs for the soundtrack, which I actually found kind of cool because, I mean, there's some good songs out there.
That's a lot of diversity. A lot of diversity in music knowledge.
This dude was handpicked by the label to try and make this band more successful. The local radio station for Orange Bay, Anaheim, it was a station called KROQ.
K-Rock.
K-Rock.
Yes.
Okay.
It is in the metal punk rock era. Like, this was one of the first places where you could be hard, heavy, or doing a really cool out there kind of punk rock band or something really. You could send music to K-Rock and they would play it.
Oh.
And that is how a lot of these bands, and still to this day, bands will send their music to K-Rock because it isn't just a huge impact for local musicians in the area.
Interesting. Yeah. I had no idea.
Yeah.
So K-Rock, one of their higher ups, I think it was director of music, whatever, blah, 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 for the station. But he was quoted at the time as saying it would take an act of God for this band to get on the radio. So that goes to show you how well received their first 2 albums were and what the expectations were going into their 3rd album. This dude, Matthew Wilder, producer, like I said, very heavy-handed. Not a lot of people realize, so Eric Stefani, who is Gwen Stefani's brother, was an original member of the band. And he actually recorded up until and all through the 3rd album. Working with this producer in particular and this label made him quit the music business.
It's a souring experience, especially if you're working on probably a third album where you're not happy with what you're producing out of the album. I bet he wanted to stay more of that ska punk true rooted feel. And this producer heard Gwen's voice and was like, I can make this girl a pop star. You just got to let me polish the turd.
By the way, we should be very, very hesitant on referring to Gwen Stefani and a turd in the same sense because she's a gorgeous gal. She is. She has a gorgeous voice.
Yes. Yes. But I meant the music. The music, not referring to her.
Yeah, let's yeah, we already get a few hateful comments. Let's yeah. So yeah, after he finished recording this album, he actually left the band. He went on to pursue a career in animation, which I found pretty interesting. He worked on The Simpsons, Red Stimpy Show,
Rugrats. He did a bunch of stuff. He actually helped in the King of the Hill appearance we'll be talking about later.
Mm-hmm.
But his last credit was in 2001 on IMDb. It makes me wonder, what are you doing now? Or did you make enough money off your residuals from Simpsons and other projects and then this album to sit at home and be a lazy guy and just chill for?
I mean, I'm sure after Tragic Kingdom alone, I'm sure he's not hurting.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. But we also got to take into account, how old must Eric be? I didn't look that up. But like, if this band was formed in '86,
yeah, I would say probably late 20s at the latest at that point, more than likely. So, I mean, yeah. So he would have worked for another 5-10 years. Early 30s, mid 30s. Man, and now, I'm early mid 30s. I'd love to retire.
Yeah. And now he's approaching 50s?
Yeah.
You know, like, that's pretty crazy to think about. Yeah. If that's
if anybody has any information on the guy post 2001, please feel free to comment, send us some messages, because I mean,
we can't find anything.
Well, and we can only cover so much with these segments too. But yeah, I'm interested. Second studio album they're working with this guy ends up coming out, sold 100,000 copies. Again, not a huge amount in the grand scheme of things,
but a level up.
Yeah, over 3 times their first album. Yep. It was enough to convince Interscope, who they were signed with, to actually fund their third album, which went on to be Tragic Kingdom. We don't talk about mixers a whole lot, or at least we haven't.
Yes.
What is a mixer?
So you have many people, what we would say, in the booth, if you will. So you will have usually an engineer. That's a guy who actually presses all the buttons, sets up mics, and all that stuff. And you might have a professional recording, 2 or 3 of those people in and out. You'll have a producer. Usually that guy helps tweak the buttons, and he kind of goes, hey, try doing it like this. Hey, I hear this in my head. Try doing it like that. Yeah. Kind of like a co-composer. Okay. Think of it like that. Somebody who kind of cleans up your edges. Hey, I heard you do this bridge here. Why don't we move the bridge to this point in the song so that it has a better flow? Why don't we try doing this as the intro instead of the outro, and things like that? It's somebody who is another creative, quote unquote, who helps you clean things up. Then there is a mixer. That is the person. So when I don't know how it's done nowadays for sure, but back in the day, I would record and every microphone and every input would have a line of audio.
Okay.
And they might not line up exactly. You might have the guitarist slightly off. You might have the drummer slightly off just because of how things are recorded in the system and all that stuff. Or like with my bands, I recorded on a totally separate day vocals, which is very common. And the mixer is the person who takes all those, puts them together, makes everything line up and stacked correctly, and then makes sure that the drums don't overpower the guitars, and that when the guitar solo comes out, it kind of increases in volume slightly just so that comes out, or things of that nature, and makes sure the sound sounds good.
Okay.
They also, usually a mixer will give you 4 or 5 different versions of the mix. And you can go, ooh, I want it to sound more like this or that, and things of that nature. And it is to a normal person, if I played them, if all of my mixes to you back to back, you might hear little influxes. To a musician, to an engineer, to the people involved, it's huge adjustments.
Okay. Well, and I'm sure if you're sitting there, actually, if it's your music coming through, I mean, I'm sure you're noticing every little thing
Oh yeah.
too.
Oh yeah.
So, okay. Well, the reason I bring it up, two mixers on this album. So there's a guy named David Holman and a guy named Paul Palmer. So Paul Palmer had, at the time, completed work with another band that's pretty well known, Bush.
Bush. 16 Stone is one of the greatest albums ever.
I mean, never been at the top of my list, but I mean, I respect him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And talk about a beautiful person. Gavin Rossdale still looks fantastic.
I don't think I've seen a picture of him recently, so I'll take your word on
Yep.
it. The whole band wanted to work with him in particular, so they must have been huge fans of his work at the time. They brought him on. Him and David both started and they mixed the song Just a Girl, which is one of the singles off the album. They all thought, including the producer, that he did such a good job, kept him around for the rest of the album. So the way it was described and written, I mean, it doesn't sound like this album would have been the same without this dude. So he must have knew what he was doing.
He might have done a mix that brought out something they were looking for in it. He might have come out with working with Bush and everything. That was the cool thing about like working with some producers and mixers and things like that. He worked with Bush, if you listen to Bush, it's an alt rock band. But if I put Bush next to other bands and albums and how they sound, Bush sounds very bright. Is the only way I can describe it. It's you can hear my cat in the background. Thank you,
Mr. Kitty.
Mr. Kitty. But the mix sounds very bright. It doesn't sound dirty and grungy like a metal band or something would want to sound like. So maybe this guy mixed it and brought in kind of like a pop feel of the mix and brought it out. And what they like brighter brings out high ends and brings out these pretty things, highlighting Gwen's voice. And he might have done this stuff that just brought it through, and everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, he mixed this and now we want to change how the album sounds."
Mm-hmm.
And that could have been another reason is they wrote these songs, they recorded them, and then they got the mix for I'm Just a Girl, and they were like, oh, we need to re-record so this guy can mix it a little better.
Okay. And I mean, if there's one thing that you should take away from this album does not really fit in any specifically shaped hole as far as genres go. And it really is a mishmash of a clever mismatch, but a mismatch of several different genres. And I mean, yeah, I think it's a testament to everybody involved with the album that it does flow as well as it does, considering it's combining so many different genres. So the band at the time consisted of Gwen Stefani on vocals, Tom Dumont on guitar, Tony Kanal on bass, Adrian Young percussion and drums, Eric Stefani on keyboards and piano. We've talked about the importance of session musicians in the past, and they get credit sometimes. They did credit all the session musicians on this album. I'm not going to sit here and say them all. There were like 24 different session musicians on this album. If you listen to it, a lot of big band instruments, a lot of trombones, a lot of trumpets, saxophones, and I mean, they had a guy for everything. So heck of a lot of people worked on just the instrumental parts of this album.
Yeah, and with them taking so long to record it, it could have been like, hey, we had 4 dudes end up playing the sax on this and 5 trombonists, and you just don't know because that session drummer could have been there for that week and then got a call from somebody and been on tour.
The album name itself, Tragic Kingdom, I thought this was pretty funny. Tom Dumont, the guitar player, comes from what his 7th grade teacher used to call Disneyland, which is also in Anaheim. I got to thinking, I mean, I can see it.
It makes sense, especially people who live around that kind of thing. It's like, if you live next to a theme park, you don't want to go there.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I've never been to Disneyland, full disclosure, and I mean, granted, I'm not a child any longer, but I don't really have an urge to go. Like, if I were gonna make a trip like that, I feel like where they have like the what is it, the Paramount Studios or whatever, where the
Universal.
Universal, that's
Yeah.
what it is. I feel like that'd be more fun.
I don't know. I would rather go to all inclusive and sit on a beach and drink my Tais.
Yeah, same, but
Mm.
a kid might not agree with you
Yeah,
there.
yeah, true.
And yeah, the artwork with this album. Have you ever heard of this guy, Daniel Arsenault?
Nope.
I hadn't either, but I'm not very versed in fine art photographers.
No.
And
I,
apparently, he's a fine art photographer.
oh, I didn't know there was a difference between photography and fine art photography.
I think it depends on how much you charge.
Yeah, I would believe that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
How high your Photoshop subscription?
Yeah.
How much you're paying there? Yeah. All of the images that are included in the booklet for this album, the cover and everything this guy took, all the images are from somewhere in Orange County, Anaheim proper, where the band's from. The album cover itself features Gwen Stefani wearing a red dress. Fairly iconic, not super iconic. Like if I had seen it, I mean, I knew what it was, obviously, but if I had just seen it, some albums you're like, ooh, that's the album. If I saw this one, just the image without, I mean, I would have to like, okay, who is? I've seen her somewhere before, but I don't think it would come to me right away. But Gwen Stefani in that red dress,
Amazing.
no complaints. They ended up a little factoid on the red dress. They ended up loaning it out to the Hard Rock Cafe, who in turn loaned it out to the Fullerton Museum Center, who was running an expose of different rock, metal, Bay Area stuff. It was stolen in 2005 and never recovered.
That's interesting because who is going to buy that red dress from whoever stole it if they're trying to sell it?
I think it's one of two things. It's either if he's selling it, there's somebody who came to him and said, "Hey, I'll pay X amount for it."
Yeah, maybe.
Or or they're keeping it for themselves.
I would believe that.
Yeah.
But how do you pass that
or like
down?
a Buffalo Bill kind of sort of like.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's crazy. The other things people don't realize about this album is, yes, it's got those two singles, but there's other quote unquote singles that were released on this that are still big. Spiderwebs.
Spiderwebs is a great
song written about one of the Gallagher brothers.
I didn't even know that.
Yes. So that's why she had to screen her phone calls, is he had his manager start calling her because he wanted to date her so bad. And then Don't Speak is written about the bassist because they used to date.
Yep. For quite some time. Yeah.
Nearly broke apart the band. And so it's kind of crazy to think that they released these two singles that got huge, but there's two other singles that we just named that I bet everybody listening knows. You know, it's kind of like the Linkin Park album. It was like, yeah, there's four singles released off this, but I can name four others that you're like, oh yeah, I remember that song.
Yep.
You know, so it is kind of one of those things. This album, I think that's why we chose the albums we've chosen so far, is back to, well, other than black metal, back to front, it's killer songs. I don't feel the need to skip a single track on Tragic Kingdom every time I listen to it. You know, and
every track's a bit different
too. Yeah, so it's really cool. You can see that California influence. You can see that Red Hot Chili Pepper influence. It is a fun album to listen to, and an album you can put on. And I used to play it at work at an ice cream shop, and the parents loved it and the kids loved it because we got to tell kids, this is Gwen Stefani. And kids did, like, we would tell people, like, the kids I worked with, 16, 17, 18, wouldn't believe me. They're like, nah, she's a pop artist. I'm like, this is where it began. Go listen, my child.
Two questions.
Yep.
Not necessarily for you, but for the world at large. How many bands have the Gallaghers almost ruined?
Oh, too many.
And two, I would really like to know what a Hollaback Girl is.
It's not My Gwen. No, it's not Gwen.
Moving on, we're getting back to the No Doubt days, moving away from the Gwen Stefani days. But the release and reception of this album. So when it came out, generally well received. Promotion of this album, band played the Warp Tour. They're coming back this year. Warp Tour had come back this year. I think they already came. I think
I think
it
it's
was
already
already a
done.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they also scored sponsorship deals from multiple skateboarding companies, and that's the direction that is the direction that the record label really pushed them in, because that's where they felt the market was, the California skater surfer guys.
It's also the time, like, this is when skateboarding is starting to pick up. The X Games is getting huge. Warped Tour was getting not just huge, but I mean a fantasy for kids to go to. I mean, I was more an Ozfest guy, but all my punk rock friends were Warped Tour, Warped Tour, Warped Tour, Warped Tour, Warped.
This album released at number 175 on the Billboard charts.
Which
they cracked the 200.
Yeah, which isn't awful.
No. A year and 2 months later.
A year and 2 months. That is crazy.
Peaked at number 1 for 9 weeks.
But it just shows you that sometimes you got to wait for the right single to come out. I wonder what we should have looked this up. Insert audio edit here. What it just shows, like, maybe there's that one single, and I'm betting. All right, so let's think about it. There was
Just a Girl,
Spiderwebs, and
there's one more. What is it? Don't Speak.
Speak. I wonder which one it really set them off. I'm betting Don't Speak.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think, or was it Just a Girl?
I mean, all the music was out there in the public domain, but the album this is the single we're leading with, and then a few months later, hey, radio stations, hey, K-Rock, you should play this song. Yeah. I mean, it was all out there. It's just which ones they were plugging at the time, I suppose.
Yep, exactly.
So, but keep in mind, their first 2 albums didn't sell that well.
Yeah.
So it very well could have been a result of their Warped Tour performances and all their sponsorship deals. And we'll talk here in a little bit, but they did some cameos on some pretty popular shows at the time too. Yep. It was probably a combination of all the above that made it start charting higher too.
Well, and being alive at that time, I'm also going to say this: Gwen Stefani getting on MTV. I think Gavin and Bush had a little help with that, because I believe this is when they started dating. And that is when I think they took off, because I remember seeing them as soon as I saw their music videos. I saw them on Spring Break. I saw them at summer vacation releases on, they were performing everywhere on MTV. I really wonder if when it wasn't just oh my gosh, here's a girl who's in a punk rock band who has a good voice and she's singing in a punk rock band, and then people saw her and go, oh my god, this gorgeous blonde girl who is tall and doesn't just walk to the front of the stage and sing pretty, she fucking rocks. If you go watch those MTV performances, all those live performances on TV, she is a punk rock singer through and through. She is showing you everything she's singing about. She's jumping around on the stage with the band and going crazy. And it is a beautiful, beautiful thing.
To date, this album is 10 times platinum, 9,250,000 copies sold. That is a lot of money.
A lot of money. And it's a lot. That's not saying streams. But I'm also...
Well, it is saying streams.
Okay.
So I forget the exact year they made the switch, but Billboard in particular, they do factor in streams to album sales now. It's weird. The formula is weird. It's like every 11 songs streamed is equal to like one song on the album being sold, or it's something weird like that.
Okay.
But it's like how the royalties are too, because you're making, a tenth of a half of a penny for every stream. So, but yes, they do actually factor in streams now.
Okay, but I mean, Period. The end. That is all our generation.
Oh yeah.
I mean, because like I said, younger people don't know that Gwen was in No Doubt, but it shows you how much our generation, guy, girl, and everything in between, loved this album.
Mm-hmm. How would you define the genre of this album?
Well, we've talked about it lightly already. It depends on the song you play me on this album. There's pop songs, there's ska songs, there's punk songs. There are other debates in this genre, and I'll let you read some of the
There.
funny ones we have found.
So, ska,
Yep.
new wave,
Okay.
hair metal,
You show me when. I'll let you know.
reggae.
Of course, that's part of ska.
Yeah, and I mean you can see the
Yeah,
influences there, especially disco,
maybe in some drum beats. Maybe, I don't know.
and quite possibly my favorite
Yes.
new genre of music that I have just heard about, Chili Peppers' White Boy Funk.
I hear the influence. I know exactly what they're talking about. But see, I'm a purist. I would say Faith No More, White Boy Funk. But that's me.
But I mean, Chili Peppers definitely has a little bit more California
Yeah,
kind of
well,
sound.
yep. But I mean, it's also it's a hodgepodge of genres, because I would say also pop.
Yeah,
Like, there's a huge pop influence in this album. There's a lot of alternative rock influence in this album. So
and it kind of, I mean, it makes me feel a little dirty saying this, but pop is technically rock.
Yep. I know.
Yeah, hard to define.
Yep.
I mean, it's honestly not even so much the band, but this is kind of an album onto itself in terms of genre.
Yeah, there's even other No Doubt albums don't sound like this.
Yep. Impact.
Yeah. I mean, it was considered one of the biggest non-grunge albums of the 90s.
Of course.
So huge impact. Gwen Stefani later became a pop icon. She's
a judge on
The Voice.
I think it's The Voice. I don't think it's American Idol.
It's not, but is she still a judge? I don't know.
I don't watch that show.
No, I don't watch any of it.
Yeah.
But
at one point,
yes, so that shows you, like, she's still around. She's still doing things. And I mean, a few years ago, she released an album or a song with her husband that went huge in the country scene.
Like Shelton?
Yep.
Yeah, which he honestly seems like a pretty nice dude.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. I've never met the guy. Never.
No.
I say this with only my cursory viewings of him in commercials and the odd show and such. Seems like a nice dude.
He's known for in Oklahoma, in his hometown, for pulling over and helping people change tires.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like, that shows you what kind of guy he is. Like,
yeah.
The people are like, I see this big Ford truck pull up behind me, and all of a sudden Blake Shelton comes out.
And see, like, that just, you try and separate out the artist and the music, because there's some artists out there who are just dicks.
Yep.
But I mean, it makes it all the better when they're just like decent human beings,
Yep.
So, going past the musical impact of this album and the band, I mean, pop culture. So the band, they did cameos. They were in an episode of Gossip Girl back in the day. You remember Gossip Girl?
That was a big deal.
They did a voice recording, voice cameo on a King of the Hill episode too.
Yep.
And I'm going to be 100% honest with you. That is actually how I was introduced to No Doubt, was that King of the Hill episode.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And it is an episode, I believe it's season 5, if I'm not mistaken. And I love King of the Hill. One of my all-time favorite just comfort shows. I love that show. But Bobby gets accidentally kind of starts going to high school, even though he's a middle school kid. And the high school is in like a competition with another high school to have No Doubt come and play at like their homecoming.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So hijinks ensue. Yeah. But yeah, they all voice themselves. At the very end, they end up playing a snippet of Don't Speak, and then they go into a little bit of a more Scottier song that I can't identify.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that was actually my first introduction to No Doubt was King of the Hill, which I'm sure is exactly what they were going for by doing the cameo.
Oh, for sure. I mean, they even were known for going and playing shows on the back of tractor trailers at high schools in California.
Ah,
Once they got big, like it was on MTV and stuff. And
Yeah.
you're like, oh my gosh, that's cool that they're like, hey, let's go back to our old high school and play a free show when the kids are walking out of class. That's
awesome.
fucking awesome.
It's time.
It's time.
It is time. Reviews,
Ratings.
what we think, what you're all dying to know.
Yeah.
Or
why we're here.
You've stuck around this long,
Yeah.
so I'm assuming you at least want to know our opinions. But here, I went first last time. Why don't you go?
All right, my turn. This is my highest rating so far.
Ooh, buddy.
I'm giving this a 97.
Wow.
It
that
is
is a high out of 100.
Out of 100, I'm giving this a 97. Still an album I put on to this day. As a huge metalhead, when I clean the house, I put on No Doubt Tragic Kingdom. It's a high energy album. It's fun to listen to. Your wife won't complain that it's on. Your kids won't complain that it's on. It is fun through and through, but it's not fast paced. So you can calm down and chill out and then have a jumpy song where you can do some more stuff. It's just all in all a great listen back to front and brings up so many memories from a kid as me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Solid reasonings. And again, I mean, you're big on the replayability.
Yeah, so. Replayability. If it's not that great of an album, if you can't listen to it again and again.
So, I don't disagree. It's a very good album. I'm going to go a little bit lower.
Okay, all right.
I'm going to give it an 84.
That's still not bad.
Nope.
Solid still not B. Bad. Solid B.
Yep. My reasoning, I'll listen to it. I didn't care for every single song on the album. Everyone was different. I give them that. Each song had their own thing. I still listen to the singles if they come up. I listen to them. Like you said, the big one is, if you're cleaning your house, you got your mix on and it comes up. Your wife doesn't get upset at you if you start jamming to them.
Yep.
I thoroughly enjoy listening to them. I guess my biggest hangups are it was kind of a flash in the pan, and knowing the history about it a little bit more, I'm not sure if I'm listening to the true artistic intent of the band.
Yeah.
Or the producer and the record label interfering. And it's kind of in the back of my mind now, and it kind of bothers me. I'm like, what would have happened if they could do it a bit more true to how they originally envisioned? Or what if they weren't towing that line and trying, like, oh my gosh, Interscope, please don't,
Yeah.
So and knowing the history of it, it kind of bothers me.
Wow. That is awesome. As silly as that sounds, that's awesome. I mean, I get it. There's definitely a thing of possibly huge interference, but it did make this album. It made it huge.
And I guess what it really comes down to is, I understand.
Yep.
The industry has to sell records. Interscope has to sell records. Bands have to sell records, or there wouldn't be bands as we know them.
Yep.
But I feel like if you're erring on the side of anyone, you should be erring on the side of the creativity from the artists. And that's what it comes down to. It just kind of bothers me. So still a great album, still enjoy it. You get your royalties, no problem. 84.
I totally understand. Not mad at you, but as long as we both agree it's a great album.
Oh yes.
All right. Well, as usual, let us know what you think below. What is your rating 1 out of 100 and why? Like this, hate it. Let us know what you think about it.
Send it to grandma, see what she thinks.
Yeah, send it to that punk rock chick you knew in high school that you don't talk to anymore on Facebook. Let her listen to this.
Could be you're in. You don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be.
Yeah, exactly. But this has been Chris.
This is Steven.
With Breaking Down Breakdowns. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Unlock phone. Unlock so I can stop the recording.